Welcome to Spark Sessions. I'm your host, Sonya Locke, and these girls are on fire. Today's guests are entrepreneurs, innovators, and co-founders who are helping reshape one of the fastest growing sectors in wellness and beauty. Helen Zhang, PAC, and Ariana Callan Semenukha are the co-founders of ALCOVE Aesthetics, a luxury aesthetics practice built around a simple but powerful belief. Confidence should never come at the expense of authenticity. Helen brings years of clinical expertise in aesthetic medicine and has become known for her anatomy-driven approach and commitment to putting patients first. Ariana brings the entrepreneurial and the client experience expertise that has helped transform ALCOVE into more than a practice. It has become a trusted destination for women seeking education, empowerment, and intentional care. Together, they are leading a new conversation about beauty, aging, confidence, and what it means to build a business rooted in values in an industry often driven by trends. At a time when social media is shaping beauty standards faster than ever, Helen and Ariana are helping women navigate a different path, one rooted in trust, balance, and the belief that aesthetic medicines should enhance who you are, not change who you are. Helen and Ariana, I am so excited to have you guys here.
Thank you so much.
I love what you're doing, and I love the guts that you have opening your own practice, and it's absolutely beautiful. And I just think you're going to teach our viewers so much about where beauty and confidence actually comes from. So thank you so much for joining us. I can't wait to unpack your journey.
Thank
Cheers.
you. Cheers.
So we like to start each part with where that spark came from, because so much of how we were raised or where we grew up or some of the challenges we had really formed who we are. So I kind of want to get into a little bit of details of how you guys grew up and everything. So Helen, I guess first you, tell me about your upbringing and what brought you to science and medicine.
Yeah. Well, so my parents are immigrants. So they immigrated to this country when they were like 28 years old. So just a couple years younger than I am. And I'm a first generation Asian American. So I was born here in the United States, but obviously grew up in a household that was not in a different culture, right, of what we see kind of surrounding us every day. So grew up in an environment like that. We definitely struggled when I was younger, and just kind of like the first earliest memories of my dad moving to Texas straight from China and then taking a bus to Philadelphia to work in a food mall. A food court during the summer times in between classes and stuff while he was getting his MBA. So my earliest memories are definitely like we grew up poor, but kind of that come to the American dream as we've spent more time here. So grew up in Memphis, Tennessee. We moved shortly thereafter and grew up as a non-American. And I feel like when you grow up in a household whose first language isn't English, you can feel kind of excluded and you know that you're different. Right. And I feel like when I was younger, I always thought about, okay, how do I make myself feel and seem smaller and like everyone else around me? And I feel like what's brought me into the aesthetics and beauty industry is kind of being more confident in my ethnicity, in my heritage, and my background and upbringing, and letting that shine through and showing that individualistic beauty is so much more important than the masses and wanting to look like everyone else. So I feel like that's kind of just like a new thing that we at ALCOVE are bringing to Atlanta and to the world. So yeah, I mean, I could go about my background all day, but that's just kind of like a small little snippet of
that's beautiful. And I mean, we've had a lot of guests that are first generation or also not actually even first generation, but have grown up here. And they talk a lot about it, especially coming from you were in a small southern city. So there was not a lot of people that looked like you in those rooms, and navigating that had to be very difficult. And I love what you say about realizing your authentic beauty. But what are some of the other things that I guess your upbringing from having two different cultures in your family taught you that gave you the drive
Yeah.
to start out on your own?
I feel like it definitely instilled hard work in me from a very young age. Both of my parents either were working full time or in school. My mom, you know, came from being not a US citizen to, I mean, like working in Asian restaurants when she wasn't supposed to getting her associate's degree, to getting her bachelor's degree, to getting her master's degree, all while we were kids.
Wow.
And into high school. So my entire life, she's been both working and doing school full time while raising kids. And same with my dad. So they always instilled this really diligent, hard work ethic in me. And I always knew that was something that I was also going to emulate as I grew up as well. That I wasn't just going to, I don't know, how do I put this? But I wasn't going to let their hard work go to waste.
Yeah.
Right? Like they've worked so hard. What is that saying? Like they walk so we could run. And I feel like they laid the groundwork for me to be where I am today.
They ran so you could walk.
They walk so we could run.
It's one of those.
One of those. We understand. That makes a lot of sense. Did you have that extra pressure, I assume, like
absolutely.
the stereotypical pressure?
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
You're going to be a lawyer. You're going to be a doctor. I honestly think that finally in my life, I do feel like, I know they're always proud of me, but I feel like they're finally like proud of me versus like even when I went to PA school, I think they were always in the back of their mind, like, you should have been a doctor. What they don't know is how much life I've gotten to live because of that and the decisions that I've made. And we were just talking about
exactly.
that, so.
Like I said, my doctor is going the PA route, and it's kind of the same thing. And it's got a lot more flexibility, a lot more
Absolutely.
variety in terms of all of your experiences and stuff. So were your parents in the medical field at all?
No, they both work in the shipping industry. So they, FedEx is headquartered in Memphis. So they both ended up working for FedEx. My dad has since moved on to work at like a different shipping company, but they do corporate stuff, but like in the shipping industry. And obviously their jobs are greatly impacted because of the tariffs being, I guess, implemented. So there've been a lot of changes with their work in the past couple of years, but they're still doing good.
So what drew you to the medical industry and to the PA program? Because when you went to become a PA, it was not very known. Now it's really becoming prevalent.
Yeah, I would say that when I was growing up, even being the eldest daughter, I was definitely the rebellious one. So like with my parents instilling like, oh, you need to be a lawyer, a doctor, I kind of was trying to search for something that wasn't in the path that they wanted to lay before me. So I already was like, oh, do I want to do that? You know? And then when I went to college, I was like, I want to be a teacher at an international school because that will give me the reason to travel and just do something else that I felt like was for me. And then realized that I didn't see that path for me. So I started being open to explore what they had recommended and always seen for me. And then I found out about the PA profession actually through one of my sorority sisters in college. She told me about it and was like, hey, this is what I'm doing. It's definitely a profession that's more focused on how you want to live your life, right? You can get started with your life at 25 instead of 35. You can still be in medicine. You can, still do what you want to do, be a mom, grow a family, etc. And so I shadowed a PA that winter break and was like, wait, they're seeing patients. Like they're doing exactly what the doctor's doing, but it's a little bit less schooling, a little bit less grueling, still intense, but a little bit less grueling. And switched my major and switched my path and applied to PA school and got in, and here I am now.
Well, congratulations. And I want to walk back later to see how you guys met. But first, I guess, Ari, tell me a little bit about your background, because you guys came together from different paths.
Yeah. Yes, for sure. So I grew up in a Middle Eastern household. My dad was a business consultant, or is a business consultant, and my mom was in sales her whole life. So definitely grew up in a business-minded household. And that shaped me tremendously, hearing my mom in her house office doing her negotiations, to my dad being in the office from 9 to 5 every single day, working late hours. And I ended up marrying an entrepreneur as well. So And my little brother's an entrepreneur who's 21. So everybody in the family is very ambitious and business minded. And so that definitely helped shape the way I am or who I am because of, you know, their experiences. Like Helen said, my mom is also, my mom also came to the United States when she was in high school. So growing up, you know, she got her bachelor's degree and ended up getting a job at Pepsi, a sales job at Pepsi, and then moved to Coke, and then now she's back to Pepsi. So
That's unusual.
No,
that
I know,
is so
right?
unusual.
Right?
I know a lot of
Especially
friends
being
from
in
Coke and
Atlanta.
Pepsi, and like those usually don't mix.
Yeah, no, I know. I would rather her be at Coke than Coca-Cola. But anyways, so yeah, just being around business-minded people definitely shaped the way I am.
I think a lot of my entrepreneurs that I've had on the show, they kind of say it's like it's a different conversation at the dinner table. And when you're around people that are constantly talking about the possibilities and like the challenges and everything that you go through, it really does shape your mindset for your career.
No, it definitely does. And when I was in high school, my parents got divorced, and my mom always taught me at that age, Ariana, you always have your own. You always have your own money, your own, you know, financial backbone, I guess. And so she really instilled that in me. And I've always been ambitious, like always. Unlike other entrepreneurs, you hear them say they weren't able to keep a job or they couldn't work for anyone else. I'm the opposite. I'm an executor, and oftentimes I treated my past jobs like they were my own companies, and it was my baby. And so I think through those experiences of working the longer hours and having the mindset of like short-term sacrifice for long-term gain, really built a strong foundation for us at ALCOVE, and just already having that mindset and already having that work ethic instilled in me because of my parents and like how hard they worked when I was young, just to, you know, be able to afford a certain life that they wanted to give their kids. So super grateful.
And
for
were
that.
you always in the beauty and wellness space? Or were you like a different entrepreneur for different
No,
things?
I've always been. I first got in aesthetics when I was 19.
Oh, wow.
I worked as a front desk at a med spa. And that is like where I truly found my love and my passion for like beauty and wellness and aesthetics, was through that first experience. And I haven't left since. So yeah.
Tell me about you guys meeting and coming together and how your paths crossed and then came up with this idea. I mean, it's very bold when you break out on your own, and you guys are both very young and beautiful and obviously talented, but that's a lot for two female founders to kind of go through. So how did you guys kind of, I guess, first cross paths or come together?
So we actually used to work together.
Okay.
So met through work.
Yeah, we met through work. And through that experience, we really came to find out that we aligned in a lot of ways.
Yeah, similar goals. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Similar backgrounds, and similar visions for what we wanted or what we saw was lacking in aesthetics.
And what was some of the things that you guys saw lacking, and like, what were those early conversations like when you guys were aligned and probably just sitting over wine and kind of talking like, if I had a place, like, what were some of those conversations, I guess?
Yeah, we've obviously worked at a lot of other different med spas, and we've kind of seen the good, bad, and the ugly. We all know that there's a common perception of what the aesthetics industry is, can be, the good, the bad, the great. And we really just thought that we could build something that was aligned with how we viewed aesthetics. And I think we kind of already talked a little bit about that, how it doesn't have to be dramatic and it doesn't have to be taking away from your own natural beauty, but it can just be a part of enhancing who you are, and also just instilling that confidence in everyone, no matter who you are, what your background is. If you feel like you fit in or you don't, we wanted to create a safe space, and that's why we created ALCOVE. And so we really felt passionate about that mission and just felt like other women would resonate with that. And so that's why we created it. And so far, so good.
Yeah. It's not about, the way you look on the outside, but it's truly about the way you feel on the inside, that confidence that, a lot of times us women will lack. And so that is the forefront of ALCOVE.
And so as co-founders, how do you feel like your background and your upbringings are different but complement each other in your business? Because I do find it really fascinating that you have, business mindset, entrepreneur, and then doctor, and or
Medical,
PA. Is this just kind of coming together? Like, do you guys have different parts of yourselves that you guys work together, and how do you find that mix?
Absolutely, we're like two peas in a pod, honestly, for what we do. We do completely different things. We do have completely different lanes, and we excel in things that the other does not. And I think the best part about our partnership is we recognize that, we celebrate that, and we also give ourselves a space in order to do what we excel at, and then also ask questions whenever we do need more help or whenever those lanes do end up blending. So,
and respect one another. And our opinion. And a lot of times we'll come together and, we'll say, what do you think about this? Or and if the other person doesn't have an answer, we'll come to agreement that we need to sit on it and definitely have like an in-depth conversation. Every decision we make is together, even though we have two completely different lanes, we're still aligned with the end goal.
That's beautiful. I mean, that's what I love about, like I said, female entrepreneurs and stuff like that, is embracing that collaborative and the openness and the trust, and then realizing you can't do it all yourself, but you partner with someone a little bit more.
Absolutely.
And so two female founders, I mean, that's really unusual and also very powerful and stuff. So tell me just a little bit about ALCOVE, or tell our viewers what it is, what it stands for, and what you guys do there.
You can go.
So ALCOVE was founded to create a safe space for all women and men, but all women to feel like their best self, and whatever that may mean, right? Just bringing it down into more of like a medical science way, just because I am from a medical background. Our skin is our largest organ, right? An organ just like our heart, our liver, our lungs, our kidneys. We exercise, we take care of our bodies, we eat healthy, but what are we doing for our skin? And I feel like sometimes just in this world, it can be perceived as vanity to take care of our out-facing organ. And we just want to make sure that we educate our clients and they feel like they're in a safe space to not only understand the science behind what that means, and also making sure that they feel beautiful in their own skin. So that's kind of more like the medical reason why behind ALCOVE. Obviously, like our mission statement is to make sure that everyone feels like the best versions of themselves. They can walk into a space, feel comfortable, feel safe. There's a lot of, besides just injectables, besides just facials, besides just lasers and microneedling, there's a lot of internal work that we do in our office. Can't tell you how many times I've been a therapist, a mentor, a listening ear, someone to give advice to, someone to bounce ideas off of with my patients. And also it's been such an exciting time to also grow with my patients. I've seen patients through marriage and kids and new jobs and promotions. I've also seen patients from their kids getting married to divorce to being single again or to dating again. So it's just been such a wonderful place for us to gather women in our community to feel like the best versions of themselves and then be in a safe space.
And feel like they're heard. Yeah, that's great. Like that's where I think you bring a lot of the customer service aspect in that, that more than just, the cosmetic, but the actual safe space, as you
and
call
I think through both of our experiences, like she said, we've seen the good, the bad, the ugly, right? And a lot of the times aesthetic practices will lack either results, or they'll lack the warm, fuzzy feeling that we want to give to patients that are coming into our space. So we created ALCOVE, where you get everything. When you enter ALCOVE Aesthetics, you feel warm, you feel like you're in a luxurious space, and you're also getting the natural results that you're desiring to, like I said, not only help you, look better or whatever the case may be, but to feel better on the inside, to gain that confidence that a lot of us need. And I know for both of us, we found our confidence being in aesthetics. Like it literally changed our lives with, not only injectables, but the skin treatments, GLP-1s, but also just surrounding yourself with other strong and powerful women, whether it's coworkers or patients or whatever it may be. It's an amazing community. And I feel like we've grown it stronger than ever at ALCOVE.
Yeah.
It sounds beautiful, and I like I said, it's such a good to have such a core foundation for why you built this and everything. So I'm very proud of both of you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So now the section we like to get is called the burn, right? And I know, like I said, being two female founders, one, that's not easy. I mean, you guys had to walk away and say you had the guts to do that. So so let's talk about some of those challenges that really did shape you how you are and walking through the other side. But where do we want to start? Do we want to start with how you guys had the guts to go out on your own and how scary that was?
It was terrifying. I'm not gonna lie. And I'm a woman of faith, and you're taught not to fear, but I would be sitting here and lying by saying I was not afraid, or we were not afraid. We were terrified. I think so. More for me than you. Yeah. My anxiety was like through the roof. But through this experience, I've learned that you just have to like push through the fear. You just have to sit in it and push through it. And you keep going. You write, like for me, for example, I'll write my daily tasks on literally my notebook, and I do a priority list. Okay. Like this is first, second, and third. And then fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, whatever. I'll get through that priority list. And then what do you know? The next day is a new challenge. You just keep going through the challenges. And then you look up and you're like, wow, we're 6 months into this, and look where we are. Look how much we've grown and thrived. And we have a team of 6 now, including ourselves. But I would say my biggest advice to any entrepreneur, any woman that is sitting with like, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose my amazing salary or, my compensation package. If something is placed on your heart and you have this desire to do it, just do it. You have to push through the fear. It'll all be okay. It all works itself in the end if you have grit and ambition and you have a very clear vision of where you want to go. And I think we don't lack vision whatsoever. Yeah. We're very clear on our vision. So yeah, I would say that.
Yeah. And you gotta be uncomfortable to create growth.
I mean, right? I'm sure like you guys both walked away from successful careers.
Yes, we did.
And I assume you didn't have any funding starting, like most women CEOs do not.
We are self-funded.
I think that what's the percentage? I think it's only 9% of women get funded at all. And especially not two female founders, that percentage is much, much lower.
I heard it's like 4% of all funding and like 2% is from AI. So it's technically, because that's one person. Technically it's only 2%.
That's insane. So how did you navigate that struggles when you had the vision, but you didn't probably have the money yet?
I think we really leaned on each other through the process. And I feel like, honestly, sometimes having a co-founder is like a superpower. I think people get so into the ego of being just a founder, but having a co-founder is a superpower because you're able to rely on someone, bounce ideas off of someone, and have someone to share those struggles with, which I feel like we need to give more credit to. And I think we had a vision. There were so many days after work that we spent sitting in my car till like 10 p.m. just like mapping out the name, the brand, the mission, what we wanted, what we saw, and some of that was what we manifested, and some of that was an idea that we were like, I don't think that sits with us, but we just didn't know until we really sat through all that and figured all that out. But
yeah, to go back to the funding, we had a strict budget, and honestly, we were under. We were under the strict budget that we were working with, and I was never a DIY girlie. I'm
a DIY girlie.
I was about to say,
DIYs
not
everything.
Cheap either.
No, it's not.
But we have a luxury taste.
We do,
but we will. I'm a savvy budget.
Yes,
savvy girl, and she can bring up a good bargain too.
Yes, I can negotiate. Yeah. But she taught me how to use the Cricut for the first time.
Yes, our first bags were we Cricketed ALCOVE on all the bags.
Yeah,
what are we gonna do?
But yeah, med spas are very expensive, right? We didn't buy our first laser machine, our first CO2 machine until just recently, like a month ago. And we just launched with it last week. So we had a very curated service menu launching, just, to make sure that we're not getting in over our head, with the money aspect. We felt very strongly we didn't want to get into debt. And so, it was our non-negotiable. So we did everything we could to stay out of debt. And
that had to be very hard to do, because I know that, like I said, the equipment's $10,000, $50,000 or more on some of those. Like, I mean, a lot. Okay,
6 figures.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
we didn't start with equipment.
No,
Yeah.
But did we pay that laser in cash? Yes.
Yes.
So, I mean, do you feel like this has been the most challenging part, starting a new business of your lives, or is there other challenges that you think built you for this?
I think challenges is ever evolving, right? Like, I think while something may seem like a challenge at first, and then you kind of just walk in it and live it every day, it just becomes normal. So I feel like your ceiling for challenge increases as you kind of step forward and take that risk. So I do think at the time it probably was the most challenging part of our lives. I think back to us a couple months ago when we first started, and the anxiety and the fear and all of that. And then just looking at us now, I'm so grateful we went through that. But I do feel like bigger challenges lie ahead, which is exciting, honestly, right?
Yeah.
Like that's not our ceiling, that there's gonna be bigger, exciting, probably harder challenges, and we'll get to tackle that together, but that just means that we're growing. So I do think that it probably was at the time the biggest challenge we've ever had to face. But
and now you have employees as well.
Yes.
That's another big challenge, right?
Absolutely.
Is how do you grow and trust somebody? Because I can tell you guys are both probably a little bit perfectionist, right?
Oh, yes.
The amount of times we've been told we are too picky.
Yes, we're too much.
We got turned away by an alterations place the other week because we're designing something. But two of them. No, we're. I don't like to use the word picky. We just are.
Know what you want.
We know what we want, and we're not willing to waver away from that.
Yeah.
Like, it is, especially with ALCOVE and building a team, we have some non-negotiables, and we're not willing to negotiate when it comes to certain things. So we have an amazing team, though. Like, we have curated the best team you could ever ask for. In my career, I've worked with a lot of amazing teams and a lot of different walks of life, different people. And I'm not just saying this because I'm biased, but genuinely, we have the best team, the best group of women. We uplift one another. We support one another. We're all aligned in the vision of ALCOVE, and I don't think we could ask for anything better. No.
So what do you feel like is going to be the next challenge?
A second location.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Expansion for sure.
Yeah.
Which is hard when you're not going to be there, right? So how do you make your vision? Like, One of the things I know also too, Helen, you're kind of famous for telling people no,
Mhm.
right? Which is not usual in
Even
this
me.
industry.
She'll tell me no.
I'll tell everyone no.
How did you overcome that with like clients saying, I want this and this and this and this, and you saying no and standing up for your principle, but still growing? And how do you give that across as like an asset?
Yeah, I think that really comes with time. And I think that that wasn't something that I had when I was a first new baby PA injector. It was something that I grew with understanding my own vision of what I saw for my patients and understanding how I wanted my art conveyed, and then feeling like if I did give in to a patient and seeing the result that didn't align with who I was or the art that I wanted to display to the world, it feels uncomfortable, right? Like you feel like you're sitting in something where you're like not proud of. And so that's kind of what was rooted in my, okay, like I'm going to be the injector that tells you no. And I feel like my patients ended up respecting me for it. And I feel like we need to bring ethics back into aesthetics.
Yes.
And, you know, we prioritize our patients over profit because this is medicine at the end of the day. And I think we have to remind ourselves of that, you know, the profit part can come later, but it will come because you are so focused on providing the most ethical kind of care to your community and to the people that walk through our doors. So,
No, everything she said, and she, you know, her being on the clinical side and me being on the business side, she has taught me so much with that. And, you know, I know for a fact we'll see it, you know, tenfold.
Absolutely.
We are building trust with our patients. And like I just said, even me, for example, like I want more lip filler on my top lip. And she's like, no, you can actually see your smile now. And you know, what's crazy is I've gotten a few messages just from like posting stories or whatever the case may be. And somebody literally said, I love your lips. You can see your smile now. I don't think I've told you that. But yeah, no, just building, you know, a practice where we're not afraid to say no. Forget the profit. The profit will come later because we are being ethical.
And clearly it has. If you're already looking at a second location, you haven't been even open 6 months.
We've got big dreams.
Yeah. Big goals.
Yeah, but you guys like walking through that burn, it seems.
Honestly, I get anxiety if we're not walking through the burn. If we're not being productive, I'm like,
you're not
okay,
moving forward. Actually,
exactly.
truthfully.
What are we working on?
Yeah. No, I always tell my staff, it's like, because if you're not failing, that means you're not moving forward.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Now it comes to our burning question, which is really much more of a societal question, which I can't think of two more perfect people to be able to answer this with, especially all the work that you guys are doing at ALCOVE. But what we're seeing every day isn't really about the filters or the skincare or the aesthetics. It's really about how women see themselves right now. And in a world where we're constantly bombarded with filtered images and curated lives and the possible standards that we can't live up to, the conversation really kind of brings down back to more the true burning question, which is at a time when women have more tools than ever to change their appearance, why are so many of us feeling not enough or inadequate? And I'm going to give you some of the statistics because they're really crazy. So today, about 40% of aesthetic procedures are done on women under 35. The US injectable market, it is coming to be exceeding $12 billion within the next decade, which is crazy. And studies have linked social media to increased appearance and comparison and body dissatisfaction, particularly among women. And now 38% of millennials, this is amazing, have put aesthetics as part of their overall wellness budget. It is like a category of its own. So with all that being said, and all the talks that we've had about social media and how that's affecting mental health, it brings us back to the question is how do we change that narrative?
I think that, first of all, I think comparison is the thief of joy, right? And I think, I know, and I think that whenever we see it so front and center on social media sometimes, we can't help but compare ourselves to the curated feed. Oh, they look so put together when they're working out, whether you're a student, an entrepreneur, a working mom, a mom in general, or just even like a cook, a wife, like whatever it may be on social media, it can be perceived as perfectionism. And I just don't think that that is like the true story of what's actually going on, and like the time and the effort that is spent behind the scenes creating that look of perfection. And I think as consumers of social media, I think we need to do our due diligence to understand that there's more behind the camera there, right? There needs to be like more of a thought process that this is a curated life, and nobody lives life like that. And I think there needs to be more realism to social media. And I think that is something that I actually do in my social media, is like talking about the struggles of opening up a business. I show my day in the lives of a very messy bathroom, a crazy workstation, just like the craziness in everyday life, because I feel like that is so much more important to be authentically yourself, to show what is real and what is not. And I think that that transcends both in beauty, in aesthetics, in injectables, and into kind of social media and how we perceive everyone else's life. So in the office and in the clinic, that is a conversation that my patients talk about. I talk to all my patients about. The foundation of my consultation is always, how can we make you feel like the best version of you? We're not here to fix anything. We're not here to change anything. I don't like any of those words in my office. And when my patients come in saying the word change or fix or get rid of or alter or anything like that, I have to reword and rewire the way that they think about themselves. And it is something that, like I said, even though I am an injector, right? My thing is to help women feel like the best version of themselves. That is something that I have to coach a lot of my patients through, and kind of practicing and preaching that self-love within themselves, because I can do all these things externally, but if they don't have that internally, it's not going to help her or change anything about the way that they feel. And so what I do, I feel like it's almost a supplement to their internal confidence, to self-care. I feel like that is more important of the autonomy of choice, especially as women, that whether that choice is to prioritize our wellness, our health, our skin, our beauty, feeling and looking like the best version of ourselves, we have that autonomy and choice to do so. And I think that's the most important thing.
I love that. I love that. So now I ask is, how with aesthetics can we use that to not reinforce the stereotypes, but actually help to build confidence among women?
I tell all my patients, I'm like, nobody needs anything. I didn't go outside and drag you off the street and pull you in here. You are sitting in my office because there's something that you want to invest into yourself, and I can help you alongside that journey. And I can do it in a very ethical, safe, and naturally kind of supportive way.
So how do you think that ties into aging? Because I'm obviously aging.
And I say this all the time, we are lucky to be aging. We are lucky to do so, because not everyone gets the blessing to be able to say that time gets to pass and we're able to age. And that is what I enforce and instill in all my clients, because I do see patients that are in their 20s, but I see patients that are in their 40s that are going through perimenopause, and there's a lot of changes there. I see my patients that are in their 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s, and there's this blessing of being able to experience all those decades that we kind of forget about when we think about aesthetics. And I feel like that is always at the forefront of ALCOVE. It's just reminding women that they are beautiful the way they are. There's nothing that needs to be done.
So different generations of women have different perspectives. How do you feel like this newer generation is being affected by social media, and how do we kind of, I guess, re-educate them?
Yeah. And I think that's a journey that most 20-year-olds go on anyways, right? Even without social media, even without reality TV and aesthetic offices. I think that's a journey that, personally, as someone who just left my 20s, who's now 31,
I'm still here in my 20s.
It's a journey that every woman, I feel like, ventures through their early 20s. And I think what's amazing of having me and instructor Sharon and our esthetician Bree in your corner is that we're able to enforce that and kind of help redirect the thought process of what brings you in here and why you think you need something.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that it's more prevalent because of social media, like I said, because of that comparison. But also I do think that as a woman, that's a journey that we all have to kind of figure out and navigate ourselves through our early 20s.
So what can we do as a society to kind of change the thought process that you don't need to change to be beautiful, and you're beautiful how you are? And I know, Ari, you kind of alluded to that a little bit when you were talking about your lips.
I'll speak from my side, right? Being on the business side and also a consumer myself, with social media and getting treatments done. There's a solution for everything, right? And we are so lucky to have providers like Helen, like Sharon, like Bree, where you enter a treatment room and you talk about, your insecurities or what you would like to change. And we have amazing ethical providers to lead you in a way to a solution, but it may not be the way you thought it was going to be, or it may not be the roadmap that you thought, it was going to take to get you there. Like I mentioned earlier, I want more lip filler in my upper lip, but Helen has changed the way I see my lips and say, you know what, you have gorgeous, amazing lips. Your upper lip is a little bit smaller than your bottom lip, but look how it shows off your smile. You have great teeth. You have, an amazing smile. This is Helen telling me, by the way. But you have an amazing smile. And if we add more filler to your upper lip, it's going to take away from your smile. It's not going to show as much as your teeth. So there's a solution for everything, but you may not need it, or it may not look like what you think it looks like because Susie is posting on TikTok, I got 1 ml of lip filler, whatever the case may be. And I think it's also, as you get older, you start getting more comfortable in your skin. Like, I used to hate my stretch marks. I have stretch marks all over my hips. I used to hate them. And now I look at them like, I'm a woman. I've grown into my body and I love them. And I'm excited to eventually have children and hopefully get more, because it just shows that I've gone through life and I've experienced, birthing a child or whatever that case may look like, gaining weight. That's how I got these stretch marks. I gained weight and then I lost a bunch of weight. And so just going through experiences and embracing them.
Yeah. Same thing with wrinkles, right? Like those are just memories of how many times you've laughed, how many times you did your inquisitive one eyebrow look, or how many times you made silly faces to your kids. Like it really is a roadmap of our lives. And I feel like just in an existential way, right? I feel like you can solve and help this by it comes from the household, honestly. And I feel like us as women, the way that we speak to our nieces, the way that we speak to our daughters, the way that we speak to younger women around us, really anyone, right? And I feel like that self-doubt or like that comparison can be altered. That brain chemistry can be changed by speaking positively and surrounding yourself or coming from a household with women that speak positively about themselves. And I think that makes so much more of a difference than that can combat everything that you see on social media. If inside of like your close circle of women that you look up to speak positively about themselves.
So that perfectly leads into the next section, which is fanning the flames. You guys are entrepreneurs, you're married, you have a lot of societal pressure. So how do you keep your cup full and fan your flames to kind of keep going and keep pushing forward?
I would say, number one, sleep. I need 8 hours of sleep every single day. I have experienced burnout before in my career, and it's so crazy because working 24/7 is highlighted on social media, you know, that grind and that grit. And don't get me wrong, there are seasons in life where you need to do it and you have to have it, but there's nothing as unproductive as somebody that is completely burnt out. Yeah. And so I have learned in my career to prioritize sleep and to prioritize rest. So I would say 8 hours of sleep every single night. I think we really enjoy our morning matcha. I'll always get us matcha in the morning, and, you know, vice versa. She'll get us matcha as well. And just, you know, my Sundays are my one day a week where don't text, don't call. Have we always listened to that? No, but there are emergencies that happen that you have to take care of. And just, I love going to the lake. I love being with my husband. Like, you know, this sounds so cliche and corny, but genuinely, I was telling you one time when we had that one emergency with Instagram, I literally love being in the car, having my phone away, listening to music, having the windows roll down and the wind in my hair, and literally just not thinking about anything. Like, sleep and spending time with the people that mean the most to you is so important in putting the phone away. Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. And so that's what helps me, you know, get through the next week.
I love the power of pause. I think that you definitely have to have it to recharge. So I've heard yours. What about you, Helen? Tell me about how you recharge.
Oh, wow. Grounded. Yeah, I am not one to say no to self-care. I will have days where I'm getting, I think this past Saturday, I got a massage. I went to a head spa. I went to Whole Foods. It's like a little, like, they like wash your hair. Like a head massage. Just things like that. I've had a sauna membership, Pilates. Like, I will not say no to time off. My husband and I love to travel. And when she was my manager, she did not love that. But I will, before opening up ALCOVE, never said no to a weekend vacation or just time off. But right now, as a female founder and an entrepreneur, the time off is a lot more limited. So ways that I'm able to just reset, kind of same thing what Ari said, just chucking the phone somewhere, forgetting about it, putting it in a drawer for a day, and taking a walk. Like, our favorite hobby to do on Sundays is to take a 3-mile walk down to like downtown Dunwoody, go to our favorite coffee shop, Summit Coffee, get lunch at Mellow Mushroom, and then walk 3 miles back with our dog. And that's like a 9 a.m. to like a 12:30 kind of thing, where I don't even bring my phone on that walk. So just little things like that just reset you and just allow you to kind of just reinvigorate and be able to continue with the nonstop grind of running a business.
So now we come back to the most important part of Spark Sessions, which is passing the torch. And you both are very strong, powerful female founders, and you have the responsibility to kind of bring up the next generation. So one of the questions I like to ask is, what would you say, or what advice would you give back to your 21-year-old self?
Wow. Oh man, I just think about myself at 21 years old and just still just trying so hard to fit in. And I would just tell her to lean into who you are and to not be scared of taking risks and stop living life scared. Honestly, I was, still with my high school boyfriend at the time and was still just living my life for other people, not myself. And I feel like you do have to go through things like that to understand and to come out on the other side to really live your best life. But yeah, I would tell her to just keep on chugging along, but stick to her guns a little better.
Yeah, I would say if I could go back to my 21-year-old self, I would tell her, trust your intuition, trust your gut, and stay firm, with your decisions.
What about you two? So when you guys were starting out, did you have any mentors that helped guide you with starting your business?
I've had an amazing mentor in aesthetics. Her name is Lauren Murphy. She used to be the sales director for a company that we have a great relationship with. And she has given me a lot of amazing advice.
It is so amazing what you guys have accomplished. and working through self-doubt to have the guts to do what you guys have done. So have you started mentoring others or given advice to other female founders like yourselves?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let you go first on this one because I think it goes hand in hand.
Yeah. I mean, we always say just do it and do it scared, right? And like we've talked about that growth mindset, and you will never grow if it doesn't scare you first. And, you know, closed mouths don't get fed. So make sure that you're always asking for what you feel like you deserve and what you believe in. And I think that goes back to the team that we created. We surround ourselves with women who want something of themselves. We love surrounding ourselves and creating a team that want to grow. And they may come in as one position, but we push them to be the best version of themselves in that position or even outside of that position. So we love to say we are who we surround ourselves with. And I think that's why Ari and I are really amazing co-founders and great partners as well, because we emulate that both inside of work and then also outside of work in our everyday lives as well.
And I would say, you know, to the next female entrepreneur or just somebody in their career, you're never going to feel ready. There's never a perfect time. There's never a perfect moment. You're never going to feel ready. You just have to make, you know, a plan of action and stick to it. And it's going to be scary. You're going to be afraid. You just have to get through that fear. And again, you'll wake up one day and you'll be on the other side of it and literally tell yourself like, oh my gosh, I did this. We did this. This is incredible. But I also like having the mindset of short-term sacrifice for long-term gain. Like we are sacrificing so much as co-founders of a new business, our time, our energy, you know, monetary wise, all the things, but we know that there's a bigger purpose and we're gonna yield the result of our hard work now in the future. So that's what I would say.
So now we come to one of my favorite parts, which is the fire round. First thing that comes to your mind, no wrong answer, and just whatever you're thinking. So first one, coffee, tea, or cocktails?
Cocktails.
Matcha.
Early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
Night owl.
Window or aisle seat?
Window.
I think we already know the answer to this one, but favorite way to spend a Sunday morning?
Chuck the phone out the window and don't bother.
Candy.
One thing always in your purse?
It's messy.
My wallet,
I
credit
would
card.
say like a lip balm.
Current podcast, show, or book obsession?
I've been reading Emma Greed's new book, Start With Yourself.
I've been listening to a lot of Hot, Smart, Rich by Maggie Sellers. She talks to other women entrepreneurs and kind of their stories as well. So
Most underrated form of self-care?
Sleep. Yeah.
And this is a good one. One thing you want every woman to believe about themselves?
she can do it.
Yeah, I was going to say you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
You absolutely can.
So now we made it to the final question, I promise. So what we ask everybody is, what is your one spark, the one truth that keeps you going through everything?
I think we would say lead with authenticity and
Being ambitious.
ambitious.
Yeah, you have to have ambition, but you have to put authenticity at the forefront. You have to stay authentic to yourself, to the brand, in our situation, to each other. But you need to have ambition to drive that.
Yeah.
That is so amazing. I mean, what you guys are building is more than a med spa. It's really a movement, and teaching women to be their authentic self and to have that confidence. I mean, so powerful, and your message is really beautiful. And I just want to thank you guys so much for being here today and listening to all of your wisdom.
Thank you
Yes,
for having
I
us. It's
appreciate
been
it.
so much fun.
Thank you for tuning into Spark Sessions. Until next time, keep the fire burning.